intro.
It's a fantastic
Electric.
intro. I would say top 5 intros probably in YouTube history.
I would agree. Hose, did you make that yourself?
I wish. I can't figure that shit out. Luckily, this handy dandy tool just gives us stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
You can even
Did
put
you
some
guys
background
watch?
music if you really want.
True. Did you guys watch the home run derby last night? No, background music. I mean, the home run derby was pretty cool. I don't know.
I did not watch that, but I saw that. Was it Julio Rodriguez hit 41?
In the first
Was it on the
round,
day or
and
in a
then
round? In a round, yeah.
in a round, and then he gassed, and then he got eliminated in the second round.
Remember when
So
Josh
I mean-
Hamilton did the same thing?
Hamilton was.
Piped a shit ton, then got tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Vlad Guerrero came through, but I mean, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good one. People were complaining about, it's just volume over quantity. They weren't letting the baseballs hit the ground or whatever, but that was pretty good.
Aren't they changing it now
that-
to where it's like you get bonus points if you hit it a certain amount of distance or whatever, and it's the scoring's different?
Yeah, but now it's just how many balls you can hit in 3 minutes, and then you get a 30-second bonus. But then if you get 2 home runs of 440 or more, you get an additional 30 seconds. Yeah, Vlad Guerrero looked like he was gassed after 3 rounds of it.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. So.
But
No,
it's the first
so
father-son duo, right? That one.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
that one. Yeah. No, people are coming in. We're just talking a little baseball. Probably that's why people are showing up, right? A little home run derby talk.
We'll
Everybody
stop talking
loves
about that soon
baseball.
enough.
Yeah. So, no. All right. Now that we got some people in here, well, I think there's been a little bit of news. What do you think, Brandon? Has there been a few things that have happened? I mean, Devon Mitchell committed. I mean, Jose wasn't on our video because he was out in Tejas. Jose, what do you think about Devon Mitchell? I mean, obviously, he's a great player, but just curious to hear what you have to say on him.
I think he becomes tight end number 1 as soon as he gets on campus. He has the catching ability that Helms and Llewellyn do, but he has the catching ability that Helms does, but the body type of Llewellyn. And so really what the catching up he has to do is learn the playbook and probably put on some muscle so he can keep up with collegiate players. But he looks like a grown man. As long as he learns the playbook, there's no reason why he's not an impact freshman next, in 2024, year 1 in the SEC. You haven't seen anything out of Helms and Llewellyn in the short time they've been at Oklahoma. Not really expected to do much this upcoming season. Could that change? Sure, but it doesn't look well because they have Stogner in front of them. I think Helms is dealing with some injury problems. Llewellyn's dealt with injury problems in the past. So if they can stay healthy, I guess, but I think Devon Mitchell, is the guy that's going to take snaps as a starter. Maybe not game 1 in 2024, but 2 or 3 games in, you're going to see him in the tight end 1 spot.
It sounds like Brandon. I mean, I know in our video, and I was mistaken. I said he was 6'6". He's 6'4". I don't know what I was thinking. So I know some people definitely corrected me on that. I was just a little hesitant with someone reclassifying. I mean, he's obviously talented. It's just my initial thought when you're, one less year in high school and you're 1 year younger. I mean, making that jump even whenever you're in high school a full time, your full 4 years to the, will be the SEC. It seems like a massive jump. I guess I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because he's obviously extremely talented.
It's a huge jump, but he's that good. I think he's gonna have like I talked about in the video. He's gonna have like a CeeDee Lamb type freshman season. I don't know if I'll go as far as Jose and say he's going to be tight end 1 as a freshman, but he's going to get the CeeDee Lamb treatment, I think. And maybe CeeDee started a couple of games here and there, but CeeDee definitely played a lot as a freshman. I kind of think the same role for Devon Mitchell because he is that good. And I think what I didn't bring up, what Hose brought up, is I think he's better than the tight ends on the roster right now, and I think that's what's going to help him. Hose mentioned Helms and Llewellyn. He forgot Caden McIntyre, but either way, I think he's going to outplay all three of those guys. I think if Stogner was still on campus, he would sit behind him, but Stog should be gone by 2024.
He will be. And I mean, normally I'm with you, Brum. Like, freshmen won't be very impactful. They might come in here and there. But it's because of the room he's going in. I think Helms is a very good pass catcher, but his body doesn't really show that he can be a good blocker. And maybe that changes. Llewellyn has the body type to be a good blocker, but we haven't really seen him in the passing game. So you gotta... I mean, could I be overbuying here? Probably. And I could look like a complete jackass by the time that time comes. But if you just look at their talent when they were all coming out of high school, Devon is very easily the most talented player in that tight end room by the time he enrolls.
That's fair to say. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not the most talented. I just wonder if Oklahoma brings in a transfer. I mean, because we're already a little worried about the depth there. Does Oklahoma look to bring in a transfer? Or is Devon the only guy in the 24 class? He very well might be. But I just wonder, unless Caden Helms takes the next step and the guys with Mitchell, I just wonder if there would be someone like a grad transfer come in after Stogner.
Well, Cade McIntyre is also supposed to be just a freak when it comes to how he could potentially grow and that with Schmitty over the next year. He could just be like Daniel Parker, and come in during running situations so he can block or help Devon with blocking. I don't know if a transfer is going to be needed, but I guess you got to see what if Oklahoma's guys end up transferring, which is possible.
Yeah. Dalton Morse says that you should have been here ripping a couple of darts there, Jose.
Ripping darts to celebrate.
Where were you?
I was at a wedding, not ripping darts. I was ripping
a lot of vodka
sodas. A lot of vodka sodas.
I was going to say, you very well might have ripped a dart or two, and you don't even know.
That's possible, I guess.
Oh, man. But, yeah, so obviously it's great to get Mitchell in the boat. I think some people would have been pretty upset, obviously, if he would have went to Miami or Alabama. I think people would have been questioning Joe John Finley
Jose.
as far as he's the guy.
I still am.
Really?
How could he just landed the best tight end in the class?
But without Hawkins, how easily is that secured? How much of a lead was he able to get regained because of Hawkins being there?
But in his defense too, you could say last year Malachi Coleman, I don't think it was his decision to let him walk.
I mean, that's fine, but we're not talking about who we could have had. We're talking about who we do have.
But now you're saying the only reason why we got him is because of the quarterback. I mean, Joe John's got to be doing something, right?
I mean, maybe, but you haven't really seen it.
I guess we'll see.
I think Devon Mitchell is they were losing a lot of momentum. And you don't really see that with the other guys on the coaching staff as often as you do with Finley. We've gone after plenty of tight ends, and Devon almost wasn't a Sooner, potentially, because he has been interviewed and said it was kind of everything came up to that day. But Alabama was right there. They have the coaches and the talent around him.
Alabama's always going to be right there.
Miami was
anybody.
there. Yeah, but Miami was there.
He
And
likes palm
Alabama's
trees, I
not
guess.
always there.
They're
Right?
always
Alabama's
there.
not always there.
They're
And Miami's definitely not always there.
Alabama's
And
always there. They're a top
no,
5 on 90% of kids who are legit.
yeah, but the top 5 isn't top 2 or top 3.
They're
Where it
top
comes
3
down
on
to the
75%
decision.
of them.
It wasn't for Mike
And
Hawkins.
they're only top 3 because a lot of them, Alabama can only take so many kids.
Then for these top guys, you got to be able to beat them and continue to take the lead. But Miami is inexcusable. With Alabama, sure, you guys can have that one. But Miami,
Sometimes it just happens. Some kids pick Washington, who are elite.
not 5 stars.
Well,
You didn't pick
and
Miami.
I was going
And
to say,
Miami, every now and again, they get 5 stars. It's still Miami.
They did last year.
And they're
But-
a good tight end school, I guess, like Brody said here. I mean, I don't know. I think Miami, the University of Miami, is dog shit. But I mean, I understand the appeal as a young athlete. You can't sit here and tell me you don't understand the appeal either. If you were a 17, 18-year-old kid, the idea about playing in South Beach is not. It doesn't suck, I don't think. And then you realize that the team sucks, and you have to drive. You have to take a bus an hour just to get to a home game. Like there are parts of it that suck, but the idea originally, like out front, would be fun. I'm sure the official visits are a lot of fun.
I mean, and those schools do land 5 stars every so often. I mean, just right down the road from you, Arizona landed the number 1 edge player, the 5-star Elijah Rushing.
That is
So
crazy.
it does happen. I mean, yeah,
But it shouldn't.
When the money is good, the money is really good.
I don't disagree. Miami was definitely throwing around a bag. But this one, it's very much the way I see Devon Mitchell for Finley is how many, and probably the 3 of us, see Stone for Bates. If you can't secure these guys that are gifted to you, then what are you doing?
Well, you're right. But at the end of the day, I don't care what ended up happening. They got Devon Mitchell. So Joe John, great job.
Excellent job by Joe John.
For now.
Yes, all the credit goes
Look,
to him.
I'm happy.
All
I'm
the
happy
credit
that
to
it
Joe
worked
John,
out.
yeah.
I'm happy that it worked out because he's very talented. I've already explained how good I think Mitchell's going to be. But you can't ignore the fact that this guy was basically handed to him on a silver platter, and he almost fucked it up.
I don't know if it's him fucking it up or if it's Alabama and Miami.
He had a 3-0 lead. He was the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals.
The Miami Heat
He got tied 3-3 and ended up pulling one out of his ass in Game 7.
pull it out of his ass. He won by like 107 that game, if I remember correctly.
And I think it's for the same reasons. Miami probably got hurt. Alabama probably took a ding. The Celtics, star player, got hurt at the beginning of the first quarter. Sometimes you got to win them. The way it's not your fault that he got hurt, but you won.
In hindsight, I'm glad the Celtics lost.
Yeah, that was a freight train coming on the other end of that.
But, all right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on.
I think that they're saying you have an L take here, Hose, by the way.
That's fine. Then in 2 years, whenever we're probably not landing another 5-star tight end, they're going to be like, holy shit, Hose was right.
Hose is seldomly right.
Pretty often.
All right. All right. So there have been some announcements and things like that as far as commitment dates and upcoming commitments over the month of July and even into September now, and even August and September. So the most, I guess, nearest towards commitment is going to be July 13th is Jaden Jackson, the 4-star defensive lineman out of the IMG Academy. He took an official to Oklahoma and hung out with David Stone, and obviously their teammates and their boys. It seems like that Texas is the perceived leader here, and most likely that seems to be the way it's going to go. But it seems like Oklahoma might have a shot, and I think, I guess, Jose, you can make the kind of the comparison here, like you were doing for Joe John. If Oklahoma lands Jaden Jackson, is it just because of David Stone?
I was going to say the same thing.
What do you think? I mean,
I,
what do you think the odds are of Jaden Jackson being the Sooner? It seems like everything's pointing towards Texas.
yeah, I don't know. This one seems like a long shot. It's possible. Like, if this is all kind of lining up, like if Oklahoma can pull this off and get Jaden Jackson, like you're making it that much harder for Stone to say no. And it already seems like it's become pretty hard when you look at what Oklahoma's doing to try to get those that are close to him to be part of this recruiting class. When it comes to Patterson McDonald and Xavier Robinson and Caden Durham, like you've got guys there that are, and even Devon Mitchell, like he said it straight up. He said, "I'm trying to get Stoney here." You're making it hard for Stone to say no. Jaden Jackson, I think, would just be a cherry on top. It doesn't seem realistic at this moment, but anything can happen in the next couple of days. I just wouldn't have my hopes up.
Maybe Texas will be the first team ever to blow a 3-0 lead. If you're gonna say Oklahoma, had a 3-0 lead with Devon Mitchell and almost blew it. Maybe Texas will be the first 3-0 lead to actually go ahead and fully lose it. Anything's possible in the world of recruiting, but I agree. I think the kid's going to be a shorthorn.
It's really unfortunate because he's not going to win a whole lot, especially going to the SEC. But hopefully, Baby Ben says that he's going to commit to Texas and then we'll flip him. I wouldn't hold my breath there. I feel like once a kid commits, it makes it even harder. Like if it's already behind the 8 ball right now, it's not going to be any easier come November or December.
I think Ohio State's a real player here too. I think he would probably think he's going to Ohio State before he goes to Oklahoma, if it's not Texas.
Yeah, I mean, historically the Buckeyes do a really good job in the state of Florida as far as high school recruiting, and the IMG Academy. So they're obviously definitely still a player in this recruitment. So, wow. Jonathan says 5 stars. Were you a part of the Two Plane Sports 2024 class prediction where I think, what do we have, 7 5
We
stars?
had 7.
Yeah, it did go downhill. Let me pull it up. I have it right here somewhere. So we had Kobe Black, probably not going to be a Sooner. David Stone, maybe. Williams Neri, maybe. And then now the number 1 player, according to On3, 2024 class. Samuel Brown, definitely a no. Bryant Wesco became a no. I think that's it. That's the only 5 stars we had. So what was that, 4? 5?
Yeah. Well, I guess Taylor Tatum has become a 5-star, right?
5. Yeah, but we did not think Taylor Tatum was going to be part of this class.
We really screwed that one up, boys. Maybe next year we should wait a little bit before we make our...
Those are way too early. Maybe we could do another one in like 3 months when we know who's going to be in the class so that we're more right than we are wrong.
Yeah.
Like 75% of the class is already committed and we got like 3 stragglers left.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's my thought.
Jonathan, the only one I'd be a little concerned about, but maybe Oklahoma's in a better spot than most people think, is McKinley. I just think LSU, it's going to be hard to hold them off just with him being from the Bayou, down there. But at the end of the day, the longer this goes on and Oklahoma keeps hanging around, there's more and more of a shot. And when you look at that, when you've got McKinley, Noweri, and Stone, it kind of makes the potential loss of Jaden Jackson not the end of the world.
Yeah.
The plethora of talent. I mean, there's a plethora of talent there that Oklahoma's in the finalists or a top 3, top 4 kind of position for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and that you just got to hope that the team doesn't suck this year. Like, if they're a 10-2 team, and maybe 11-1, your chances to land a guy like McKinley go up a lot, especially if the defensive line looks pretty good and he can start to picture himself in that role. Because he's not supposed to commit until the Under Armour All-American in the very beginning of January. So there's plenty of time for Oklahoma to catch up and take that lead.
What about Boosie Badass? He's a 5-star. That could be 6.
It could be. Here's the deal. If he shows up for another visit in July or during the season, that's when I'll really start to feel like, oh man, Oklahoma could land him. Because when you think about it, he put up a stat sheet all over the place, and I don't know, does he have a preference if he wants to be a wide receiver or I think he's labeled as an athlete. He plays both sides of the ball. But Oklahoma, we can talk Zion Raggins now with him being July 18th. So a week, what is that, a week from today? Oklahoma will have 5 wide receivers committed at that point, assuming Zion commits, right?
I think we're back.
KJ, Zion.
The stream shut down there for a second, fellas. And yeah. I think Brandon just a lot of swivels right now. I'm gonna take him off until his camera recovers.
Okay. Well, what I was saying, Hose, is just, assuming Raggins does indeed commit to Oklahoma on the 18th, and he brought up Bussy or Boosie, does he still want to come to Oklahoma and potentially join a wide receiver class that already has 5 commits and would be a 6th commit? I mean, obviously he can play both sides of the ball, but what are the odds of that? But if he does show up, the party in the palace, I feel like Oklahoma's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one where like the season might determine where he ends up going. Because I think he's supposed to commit sometime like during the season. Like I think he's not expected to commit till pretty much signing day. So you got to hope that he doesn't stink, or that Oklahoma doesn't stink. Sorry, and that they're always going to have room for Boosie or Bussy, whatever, however you pronounce his last name. Similar to McKinley, right? The performance of the season is going to determine probably those two and how good Oklahoma stands come signing day.
What I miss?
Brendan, I was asking you, Bussy or Boosie can play both sides of the ball.
Boosie.
On both sides. Boosie. He can play both sides of the ball. His stat sheet, I think we talked about him for the very first time like a month or two ago. It is probably the best high school stat sheet we've ever seen. Do you think he wants to come in as a wide receiver? We actually need to reach out to him again. But anyway, a wide receiver or a corner? I mean, do you think Oklahoma lets him just come in and just kind of be like, well, you can play wherever you start as soon as possible, or what do you think?
I think he'll come in as a receiver. I mean, I think he'll come whenever he wants, but I think receiver makes the most sense. And I think with him being so good, he's a top 20 player in the class, according to like every site. He's kind of that guy. I don't think he's going to worry about the 3 or 4 receivers that are in the class ahead of him or with him. I think he's going to come in and compete and probably be better than all of them. I think Boosie Badass can do his own thing. He'll come in as a receiver. He's not going to worry about those ahead of him. I like that guy. He needs to watch the show. He'll commit on the spot.
Commit on the spot. Yeah. So, this class can become top 5 really quickly. We started talking a little bit of Zion Raggins, talking about upcoming commitments with him being on Tuesday, the 12th or the 18th, excuse me. Seems like Oklahoma is in the driver's seat for him. Kind of a guy a little bit on the smaller side. Great speed, elite speed, and someone that can take the top off the defense. And with the way Oklahoma's recruiting the wide receiver position, I mean, this is quite a class that they're putting together. And Zion Raggins is just like the cherry on top. Obviously, Oklahoma wanted Bryant Wesco, but if you would have told me 4 months ago this was going to be your wide receiver class, I would have been happy with it. What do you guys think?
Definitely agree. Raggins, and I said it when we first talked about him a few months ago, he's just the outlier. When you look at the wide receivers, he's probably like almost a foot shorter, seemingly, than Ivan Carayon. And but he might be the most talented. Him and Kearney are right there. I think that their skill sets are definitely very different, but you definitely a wide receiver class that's going to make a difference, especially after last year really only being able to secure one guy because of Keon Brown having to leave Oklahoma. I mean, you have Petaway there, who's really good, but after you graduate or the guys go to the NFL, Farouk probably gone this year if he has a really good year. Might return one more year. Who else is on there?
Drake.
Drake definitely gone after this next season. Now, you have a lot of untapped potential in the wide receiver room, so getting a big haul this recruiting class definitely helps.
Yeah, I think Zion Raggins is Hollywood Jr. Just the size, the stature, the speed, everything. It's all very similar. He's reminds me a lot of Hollywood Brown, but he's more than just a deep threat. The dude ran the ball as a running back a little bit for his high school. He can run all sorts of routes. He's just a little on the smaller side, but I mean, there's plenty of very good receivers who are on the smaller side. Hollywood's just one that comes to mind because I think they have a lot of similarities in their games.
Definitely a lot of similarities, and I think a theme, with Oklahoma's current wide receivers on the roster, there's a lot of talent, and just like in this class, there's a lot of talent. It seems like that there's definitely some question marks going into this season, and I know we talk a lot of recruiting, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think as far as Oklahoma's wide receiver room going into this season and this fall. I think we all agree that Jalil Farouk is set up to be the guy this year. I don't think anyone that's watching this would probably argue with us. Drake Stoops should have a pretty solid year. I know Stogner's not a wide receiver, but he should play well at the tight end position. Who do you see, and I think we've talked about it before, but who do you see being, that guy that steps up that's not Drake Stoops and that's not Farouk? Is it Andrew Anthony? Is it Jaden Gibson? Is it who do you guys think becomes the number 2 and the number 3, or I guess Stoops could be number 2, but who do you think also really contributes this fall? Does it Jaquez Petaway come in? I mean,
if he early enrolled, I would have picked Jaquez Petaway. If he early enrolled, I would have picked Petaway as the number 3, or start the season at 4 and move to 3 quickly. I think Petaway's still going to see snaps this season. I don't know how much, but he's definitely going to see the field. I can't wait to see Jaquez Petaway play football. He's probably one of the most excited. He's one of the recruits I'm most excited about since we've started this program. I think he's going to be very good for OU, and I can't wait to watch him play. Nick Anderson here is a pick here. Brennan Thompson, I don't know, man. There's a lot. Jaden Gibson, maybe it's finally time he takes a leap and becomes that number 3. But I mean, there's a lot of guys there.
I'm gonna go with Brennan Thompson. He's got, if you look at the receiver room, he somehow has the most experience outside of the guys that are starting. And it's not a lot, but it's some. In real football games, he's a speedster, just like Jaquez Petaway. And I think that you're right. He's not going to start day 1, Petaway, probably. But maybe by the time we get to game 5 and 6, he's taken a significant amount of snaps. He's going to start to take over someone's playing time. Then come end of season, maybe bowl game, if we make the playoffs, knock on wood, we see Petaway there as the second outside receiver.
And, I think I've seen some of the comments, as far as experience, I mean, Brennan Thompson does have some, but J.J. Hester does have experience as well, playing at Missouri. He put up a couple 100 yards, 200, a little over 200. Nothing crazy, but he's played a fair share. I'd like to think that DJ Graham, and I understand, going from defensive back, going from corner and then flipping over to the offensive side, it's going to be a little tough for him to make that transition, but he's been in the program for a while. He's not a young pup at this point. I feel like DJ Graham could really translate and contribute. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a first-round draft pick after this year by any means. I mean, he could, but I think he can contribute, and I think he will be one of Dylan Gabriel's kind of go-to guys. I just think when you have that experience in a program, I think you can make that jump pretty quickly.
In the grand scheme of things, it's the same. It's the same position. He goes from trying to stop people from catching the ball to catching the ball. It's the same shit. He's just on the other end of it, and he's pretty good. I like his chances too.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think Brayden Thompson's going to be the guy that we see day one.
I think Brayden Thompson's going to have a huge game against Texas, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be upset if it's not DJ and it's someone else. It's Brayden Thompson. Oklahoma just needs someone to emerge behind Jalil Farouk. I mean, Drake Stoops is going to contribute, but they need that second guy, a big play guy.
How did Gavin Freeman look last year?
Good, but I think the biggest thing that's keeping him from being more impactful is Drake Stoops, because he's going to take Drake's role once Drake graduates. Then we'll see Gavin at 2 years, and hopefully he shows enough that he gets drafted 2 years after playing significant time.
Is this a segue into the next one?
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Brayden Platt commits September 4th. Release the top two. It's Oklahoma and Oregon. I believe his last visit was with Oregon, or has it taken place? Brum, do you know?
I'm pretty sure he's taken his visit to Oregon already. Let me double check. But with Brayden Platt, he visited the 23rd of June, so that weekend. So that's already occurred. At the end of the day, Oklahoma went in and got James Nesta for their linebacker room. I think they're only counting on Nesta being in this class, and Platt will be like the cherry on top if it does happen. It's just going to be hard for Oklahoma to pull a guy out of the state of Washington and get him to commit to Oklahoma. Obviously, they're in the final two. That's a testament to Roof and Venables with this recruitment. I just think that Oklahoma has kind of they're going to be around, and hopefully if Oregon struggles this year and Oklahoma plays really well, I think that could be a factor in this recruitment. But it's September 4th, so it's really early in the season. So it's not like we're going in November and we're going to know the outcomes of this season. But I think Platt is ultimately a Duck. I just don't feel confident that Oklahoma will win out. And I think Oklahoma's okay with that. I don't think it's like they're going to be devastated like a Devon Mitchell not picking them, I think would be a big blow.
I love Brayden Platt. I don't know what you're talking about. I think he's special. I mean, 24/7 has him as a top 75 player in the class. He's like 217 composite, but the dude is their number one running back for his high school. He also leads the team in tackles. He also runs track. He's a freak athlete. He runs, catches, does everything. He's got great size, great speed, 6'2", 240. I love everything about Brayden Platt, and I really hope Oklahoma is able to land him. Obviously, being in his top two is good. We're a final, so there's a chance. But Oregon's stupid. Like, honestly, they're I hate them too. I feel like you don't. Dan Lanning he's young, and I think he has that appeal, and he kind of maybe speaks to the recruits a little bit better because maybe he's a little more hip and a little more whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? He might gel better there, but I think Brent Venables is a better defensive mind than him. I just forgot his name. Just Dan Lanning. He's a better defensive mind than Dan Lanning. I think he's got a better staff than Dan Lanning's staff at Oregon. And again, Oregon's stupid. I think you go there not to – they're decent, but you go there more to dress up and look cute and pretty with all their fucking 870 jersey uniforms and shit. Like, it's not a football school. They go there to look cute and pretty, and that's stupid. I think he should commit to Oklahoma, where we're going to wear 2 uniforms only probably. Maybe every once in a while we bust out those horrible Rough Rider uniforms that I'm not a huge fan of, but –
I forgot Oregon was here for last season. We actually have black uniforms now.
Oregon has 274 uniforms. That's the only reason people go there. They think it's cool. I don't think it's cool. Hopefully, Brayden Platt doesn't think it's cool either, and hopefully he picks Oklahoma because I think this kid is special. I think he has the potential to be one of the top commits in the class if he is to commit to Oklahoma.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know what the Unity jersey is.
Yeah, so we have black uniforms now. You should have watched last football season. But yeah, I don't think that they're bringing out those Rough Rider uniforms anytime soon.
I will say those Unity jerseys, those black kind of granite color ones, they're cool. The hardest part about them, the worst part about them though, is trying to read the numbers off when you're watching on television. That is the hardest and kind of the thing that bugs me about those uniforms. They just don't have a ton of contrast, like the crimson and.
Have you seen Oregon's uniforms? They're bright yellow and green.
Yeah, but they at least
they look like Sprite, like the Sprite logo.
Yeah. So, no, I mean I agree. I mean Oregon's got way too many combos and things like that. But I mean, and also does Platt also think about the future of Oregon in the Pac-12? Is the Pac-12 even still a thing whenever he's playing at Oregon? If he did choose, I mean, where does Oregon go? Could Oklahoma play that card?
Someone asked earlier on, and Zayas Belu, yeah, I know he was in freaking military camp. I know him. I'm just fucking around. Someone asked,
Space Force.
Who do we think would decommit if we do have a bad season? And I think the answer here would be Brayden Platt because of Oregon being there. Like if he did commit to Oklahoma in September, Oklahoma has a bad season, he would be my number one candidate to decommit and then go to Oregon because I think that just makes too much sense if we do end up winning out in September. And I do think it's possible. It's not like we've never taken a player out of the state of Washington, and we took 2 in the last recruiting cycle with Josiah Wagner and Heath Ozida. So they've shown they can do it. They haven't shown they can do it maybe for a guy of this talent level when you look at recruiting rankings, but they can recruit Washington pretty well.
Yeah. I mean,
you got Josiah Wagner and Heath Ozida last year out of that great state.
Yeah. Jose, apparently you got a burner account.
Who's Keaton? Oh, yeah.
That's the burner account.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple more guys that we can talk about. Taylor Tatum. He's the next closest one to committing for a month now. Seems like it's just been around the corner. He's finally announced it's going to be on July 21st. And basically a new crystal ball comes in every few days for him to be at Oklahoma. I don't think it's a secret. And if somehow USC pulls this off to get him to be a Trojan, would probably be the most devastating thing for Oklahoma fans.
It would be the most devastating thing for this recruiting cycle, at least. I think I could go as far as to say this might be a bold take here. I think it could be just because of all the crystal balls and the future cast and everything that's coming in you're right, every other day it feels like. And the fact that if we do lose out on him, losing him to that guy who used to coach here, it would be, I think, more of a loss than if David Stone were to commit somewhere else. Just because of all that stuff.
It would be a huge blow to Oklahoma. Except I know Brandon would be excited because he loves his boy out west. I know deep down he would be fist pumping, and then
I hate him more than you guys hate anything.
No, I'm just glad that Tatum announced his commitment date. I mean, I feel good. At the end of the day, adding that 5th star and a 5-star running back, the number 1 running back in the class, never never a thing to be upset about, or as you always say, Brandon, it doesn't suck. Um, I mean, and then beating Lincoln Riley on top of that is just that much better.
Facts. All right, and the last guy we can talk about, then we'll go through a couple more questions. Williams Nwaneri. Apparently he's going to be committing in the next few weeks. It's been floating around that it could be August 1st. It's also been floating around that it could be at the end of July. This would definitely be what Oklahoma fans, clearly it's what Oklahoma fans want. He's now the number 1 ranked player in the 2024 class, according to On3. Could potentially be the second 5-star, and Chavis is doing a hell of a job when it comes to recruiting the defensive end spot. Do we think he commits before Stone? Do they commit together? Like, it could be a big day, July 31st, and then August 1st if Williams is committing on the 1st. Because I could see David and Mikel Patterson McDonald committing together on the 31st.
You think that Nwaneri, or did you say Nwaneri and Mikel Patterson McDonald could commit on the same day? Is what you're saying?
No, so Nwaneri would be on the 1st, potentially. But Stone and Mikel would be on the 31st, the day before.
Oh.
So
that's your theory?
Potentially. I mean, Stone hasn't come out with a date, but we'll never know with him until he says something. But it's possible. I mean, it would make sense. Him and Mikel Patterson McDonald are besties. They've been doing a lot of these visits together. They could be committing together.
It would make a lot of sense if they did it together, like a joint thing.
Would that be the best 2-day stretch of OU recruiting in recent memory? I mean, probably in the last 10 years. 2 5-star defensive linemen and
yes.
3 or 4-star defensive
and
back.
the number 1 player in the class, like hosted in one area, according to On3. That would be hot. And then just looking beyond that into the SEC season. I mean, down the road eventually, then you're playing with Adebawore, Stone, and Nwaneri potentially as 3 of your starting 4D linemen. That's a lot of fun to think about.
That is a lot of fun. That's a lot of talent, and a lot of talent that helps Oklahoma make that transition to the SEC.
Yeah, that defensive line will be nice. And then you can't forget about Nigel Smith. He's going to be committing in September. He said at the opening game for his high school, Oklahoma still looks very good there. They survived all the official visits with no big changes in crystal ball predictions. You got to feel good about that.
Friend of the show, Nigel Smith. Maybe we should try to get him back on before the first game of his high school season.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. We should see if we can get him back.
Let's see if I can find any questions here.
Yeah. And be sure to like if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below. So be sure to go follow us on that and like this video. 120 some odd of us in here, which is pretty good.
This isn't a question, but Tatum is definitely committing this month. So
yeah, he set a date for the 21st, according to Hayes Fawcett and himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's going to be, I think he said it's going to be on his high school's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll share the link as well when it comes time for that. Are we pretty much out on Okoye? Don't tell that to Brandon.
I hope not. That
might be the most devastating thing for him.
Yeah, that I think. I mean, he's fun. He's gonna be good. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of him. I love that he's from Tulsa area. I like that he's kind of a smaller school kid. I don't know. I hope not. What do you guys think? Friend of the show, Danny Okoye.
I'd like to think that Oklahoma could land him. But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be tough to really see what happens. I mean, if they get Stone and Warneri and Smith,
he said that was not going to factor into his decision when we asked him point blank that question. If he looks at that or stuff like that, other guys on the D line coming to the class, and he said no. Kind of a bet on himself approach. I did tell him when he was on the show that we could be workout buddies. I haven't since texted him and followed through on that, so maybe he's a little mad at OU because of that. Because I haven't texted him about working out.
Yeah. Well, and Dominic McKinley's out there, but I don't think. And Topher commented that Okoye could be back for the party in the Palace. So if he makes a visit to Oklahoma at the end of this month, I would still think that Oklahoma has a legitimate shot there.
Definitely, I agree. Party in the Palace is going to be a time where I think they're going to do a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they're going to really, it's a make or break for the guys that aren't deciding until the end of the football season, because you're going to put yourself in a good spot where the season itself, like if you go 8-8 or not 8-8, my bad, 8-4, you might be able to convince a couple guys that they're the guys that will help turn it around in the 2024 class. And making a good impression of Party in the Palace would be important for a guy like Okoye and Bussey, and anyone else that hasn't committed. McKinley, anyone that isn't committing until the end of the football season. Let's see here. Oh. Anything on Boganowski? Bro?
I think he's going to be coming to a decision sometime this month or early August. Seems like it's between Oklahoma and Kansas State, because I think his dad has a connection to Kansas State, because I think one of his coaches that coached him is at Kansas State. So I think Oklahoma is in a really pretty solid spot for Boganowski. But as far as a commitment, I don't know off the top of my head.
All right, Brayden.
Durham.
What do you think?
Go off of his Bird app tweets recently. Yes. I don't know if Tatum committing will impact his decision at all. I think it could, just because Tatum's the number one running back. But I mean, until otherwise, I'm saying yes. I still think Caden Durham's a good possibility. What about you, Doctor?
I just don't think, with how deep Oklahoma's running back room is, and you land Taylor Tatum,
and then we'll ask you next week, and you'll say he's back to being a Sooner, because you've gone back and forth with Caden Durham this cycle. You have flipped so hard all the time.
I know. It just depends. Depends on the day. Someone also commented about Casey Poe. Poe, I think, is gone. I think he's going to the Crimson Tide. I don't think Oklahoma's got a shot there, unfortunately. It seemed like Oklahoma for a long time had a great shot.
Agreed. And someone else asked about Grant Bree. Isn't he supposed to be a Nebraska lean at the moment?
Yeah, I think Nebraska's going to be really hard. But I think Oklahoma can win out, but I think that distance could play a factor with where he's at. But I'm going to say Grant Bree is in this class.
It's a bold take. Bold take. Here's another one. A comment, I guess, more so. Tatum getting his 5th star will push Caden Durham away from Oklahoma. I don't think that is necessarily true. I appreciate the comment on my beard.
How about Jose's beard to get us $20? We appreciate the $20.
People love my hair.
Are you paying him $20 to shave that shit because it's awful?
It's fucking dope.
You should shave it. You talked about when I was in Phoenix. You want to do it. I think there's no better time to do it than on a live stream.
No, it sounds like a bad
people would
idea.
tune in for that.
We need to start a hashtag Shave the Beard movement, and then if we get
This person
Let's say
loves
if
the
we
beard.
get-
You can't shave the beard if they love the beard.
Hashtag shave the beard movement. We're gonna get it going, and if we get 200 on this show, Hodes loves to shave his beard. Those are my terms.
Canteen Pro V guy.
I'm here
Big
for
canteen
your
guy.
hair care.
Shave for Tatum.
No, I'm not shaving for Tatum. That's basically a lock. I'm guaranteed to shave.
You said
How about-
you said before any of this started that you have expressed interest in shaving your beard.
I have, but you don't know how scary that is.
Just do it.
It's basically as scary as someone saying chop off your nuts. You're not gonna
It's
do
not the same.
It's
the same.
not the same.
the same.
Okay, how about a commitment or a recruit committing to Oklahoma? If they do, someone that's kind of on the fence at 50-50, if they do, then you have to shave your beard.
No. How about this? This seems more fair. If Oklahoma can be a top 2 class in this recruiting cycle.
How about if Oklahoma wins 10 football games next season?
No. Top 3.
Why?
Top 2? I mean, come
Top
on.
3. I'll negotiate myself down
Top
to top
5.
3 just for you guys.
Top 5 or
5 is
10 games.
basically
Take your
guarantee
pick.
if they do their job.
Top 5 or 10 games.
No. Okay, if I have to do this and you guys have to give something up too, you shave your heads.
Fuck it, I will. I'll do it right now.
You do it.
I don't have anything
You do it all the time. Brumbaugh.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Don't quit being a pussy. Hair comes back.
Oh, now we're scared.
Well, okay, wait. I'm not doing it if it's a top 2. I mean, that's. I wouldn't think that Oklahoma will be a top 2 class.
Bro,
Top
if
three.
we
Top
end
three
up
is very
losing and having to cut our hairs, we can come over. I can come to your house and we can do it on the live stream together. We can buzz ourselves together.
All right, yeah, that's fine. We can do
We're
that.
kind of hot.
I'm not
So
fucking shaving my beard.
what? I know.
This takes
I'm
too
going to
long to
agree to it. I
Fuck it. Fine. All right. Deal. Okay. If Oklahoma's top 3 class, I shave. If they
No,
don't,
no, no.
you guys shave your heads. That's the
no.
deal.
I don't think top 3. I think it's top 5. Top 5.
All they have to do is their jobs, and it's top 5.
I don't know if Oklahoma lands 3 5-stars. I don't know if that puts them in the top 3.
I say 10 games.
10 games is too easy. Their
10 is
schedule
not
sucks.
that easy. That allows for 2 regular season L's, buddy.
11,
10.
not including the bowl game.
That is stupid. No, that's fucked up. So we have to go 11-1 for you to shave your little beard.
It's gonna be worth it. If it's 10-2, you guys still win. All you got to do is lose a little hair.
Top
I'm
5.
curious
That's what
what
Ryan
the
Sandlin said.
viewers
All right, we will discuss this off air because this has taken like the last 5 minutes of the show.
This is way more fun than talking about football. You guys want to talk about football way too much.
That's kind of what this is about.
Not on a live stream.
Jake Bald is hilarious.
Yeah, it would be quite.
And Jonathan is too big of a fan of the hair.
Jonathan told you to cut it.
Stink ass cat said dope beard. Like, you guys are just taking what people love.
Brandon,
Stink ass cat is a great name.
Shave your eyebrows.
The eyebrow thing is tough. That is
Oh,
way
so-
worse.
So you don't have to lose anything that you hold near and dear, but we do.
Well, first of all, no, the eyebrows is way worse than shaving a beard. Like that is
You
like
shave your head all the time.
if you. I've never shaved my eyebrows. That would look. that
Okay,
would
how
look-
about you have to pierce a nipple? I shave my beard.
We can do that. We can do that. We can do that tomorrow, Brum. What are you doing tomorrow? What's your schedule look like?
Open, available.
Open. All right.
All right. Well, that was an interesting.
Each of
detour
you
we
chug a
just
beer
took.
for the final recruiting class. Top 3.
Oh shit!
3 beers.
This is
Top
interesting.
5,
So like if
5
OG
beers.
finishes like
Bullshit.
11,
We're gonna be plastered.
we're gonna be smashed.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'll do that too. I'll also play this game.
I'll do it too. I probably won't chug, but I'll probably do it over the course of whatever live stream we do. If that's fair.
No, I couldn't
Joel.
agree.
No,
Oh, Joel. Oh,
you guys are just taking what the people like. Just cancel the show.
The peop-
Might as well.
the people know what's good.
All right, you said Jonathan liked your beard. Jonathan, we'll leave it to you.
Jonathan,
Should
no,
shave his
Jonathan
beard?
liked the hair. Stink ass cat loves the beard.
Stink ass cat is a great name.
And this person gave us $20. How are you just gonna take? This is a $20 beard now.
No,
What's your hair ever gotten us?
Sucks so bad, shave it. Just $20.
Your hair hasn't even gotten us $5. My beard just got us 20. I think we gotta go with stink ass cat. You gotta keep the beard.
I just want to see it shaved.
Why?
Yeah.
Because it'd be
One
different.
day.
I don't know.
It would be different. I don't think I'll like it.
You
You'd
get
put
you be
piercing
doing this all
ear and
day.
wear an eye patch. If I grow my beard long enough, I'll braid it.
That would take forever.
I mean, this took 2 months, 3 months, this far. Monkey tail beard. I'll look it up later. All right. I think that was a good stream. We're going on an hour here, and I gotta get out of here. Great show, fellas.
Great show, fellas. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the $20, Stink Ass Cat. We appreciate the love. We'll catch you all next Tuesday for a live.
Yep.
See you.
See you guys.